Are now listening to the Primal Human podcast, where you'll learn many invaluable skills to master yourself. I am Nick Cortez. And I'm back, Nick Cortez, Primal Human podcast, episode 3. This is going to be our first video podcast. First time doing a video podcast. I don't watch a lot of video podcasts before. I watch Joe Rogan, sometimes Ben Shapiro, but they're not really my thing. Usually when you're doing a podcast, you kind of listen to it in your car, audio form. Anyways, the third episode will be discussing how it's kind of like a part 2 of the second episode, where we talked about how we as humans have a certain image we keep inside us, that we don't want to show out in social life because it'll be seen in a bad way. Robert Greene calls it the dark side in his book Human Nature, and it's like a part 2 of episode 2, because in episode 2 we talked about how we portray an image to outside in society, where people see us as, oh, he's a saint, oh, look at him, he's such a nice guy, how we view some politicians, where politicians always want to be seen in a really good light, so they get the most votes, and they want their whoever they're competing against in the presidency or any race of any sorts to be seen in a bad light. Like they say, you want to make your opponent look bad, and you want to make your opponent look bad. So basically, it talks about how we portray a certain image inside. That's how episode 2, and episode 3 is about how what we portray outside is really repressing what we're doing inside. And people are rarely who they seem to be. It usually takes a while for us to learn as we get older, and we have more jobs or more classes, and just deal with people outside and learn and see people's characters. You start to see people's real characters. So as a kid, we are taught to act a certain way by our parents. We come out when we're born, we're usually pretty bold. That's why kids say the most crazy things. Like they'll say, like, oh, she's ugly. Oh, like, oh my god. Like a kid will be bold as hell. Like the people that are the most bold are drunk people, kids, and people who are angry. Like I said before, people show who they really are when they're angry, drunk, or under a lot of stress. Now, when we were kids, we were taught to repress our certain characteristics, where we were aggressive or jealous or possessive. You don't want to be seen like that. Or especially like us, our parents probably wanted us to act a certain way because they didn't want to feel judged by other people if their kids act a certain way. So they told us, don't do this, don't do that, stop being like that. So we were basically taught to repress those feelings of aggression or jealousy, or whatever. Be a good kid and conform to society. So since we were taught to be this way, we start to repress these feelings as early as childhood, as we start to socialize as kids around the age of 4 or 5. So we are taught to repress these feelings, and over time, as we get older and start to learn more and more, we start to make a certain character, which is a character that we discussed in episode 2. And that dark side of us, that other character, that real character of us, that's aggressive, that society would look down on because it's seen in a negative light, like being aggressive or anything, is yearning to come out. And it will come out under stress, under anger. You might hear somebody go off after they've been put through enough, like after what's that quote, like, don't be like, I'm gonna stop being a nice guy anymore because I got fed up. Like that nice guy they were portraying finally got done with it and is coming out. So yeah, jealousy, aggression, confidence, they were, confidence is good, but too much confidence, you might like, oh my God, this guy's so confident. Who does he think he is? So, you know, certain qualities are seen in a very negative way, and we're taught from a young age to repress those feelings, those impulses of, being bold and aggressive or jealous or whatever. And especially now, even as we're adults, we can't really do it. People get shamed on social media, canceled for saying anything that might not be with the cause or against the progressive, whatever, basically any cause. Basically, and especially on social media, people will dig up old celebrity tweets and they'll make a big fuss, and then that celebrity will come out and apologize. Or if they get caught doing something, then they have to issue an apology where, oh my God, something came over me. Well, really, that's really what that person was really feeling. It's always what that person was really feeling on the inside. And we usually, most people, if they don't recognize that they have this dark side inside of them, this aggressive part, usually will be even more angry at the person that's portraying that freely, because we'll see that as, this is something that we want, we kind of wish we could do, but they're not doing it or whatever. We're not doing it because we feel like we have to conform. So the person that isn't conforming and is actually doing this, we're more upset at them. Take a look at examples like politicians like Donald Trump. Whether you like him or hate him, he says crazy, outlandish things, and that's why he has a big following. Not just because of his conservative ideas, but that is part of why he's out there, because he has no filter as a president, and a lot of people can see that. They feel like they have to conform to a way of society. And yeah, another example we use, and this is not just politicians, we see this on actors and basically any media. We're fed movies. Usually Hollywood knows that we love and we're in awe of people who portray our dark side. This is why we are enthralled by documentaries about serial killers. Netflix had Ted Bundy, and now they have Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, because people love serial killer documentaries. There's something really, really interesting about people that go out of their way and do all this like crazy stuff. Usually the people that don't conform, by the way, that don't conform to societal standards, usually are criminals, because our natural impulses are to rob, steal, and do stuff like that. But as we get older, we know, oh, this is bad. You shouldn't do that. Obviously, you shouldn't steal. That's just normal stuff that you learn. Some people, again, the people that don't learn end up in prison or criminals. Worse, our natural aggression. Monkeys, we come from monkeys, and monkeys, whenever they'll fight each other. They'll kill each other. Like I said before, the only thing that separates us from animals is the fact that we are more conscious of what we do, and we can communicate in a different way. So the fact that we can conform to the society stop us from doing certain things. And back to the point. So the media of all kinds, they portray these figures of people who are openly using this, using their dark side, using their natural impulses out. This is why, like I said, serial killer documentaries are super popular, or Forensic Files, TV shows like Forensic Files, where, we hear about rapists and killers. Some people might have a natural urge to, sexual urges. That's another, thing that we are conformed to not do. It's, don't rape people. Urges like sexual urges, aggression, wanting to be possessive. Usually we end up repressing these, and these end up coming out later when we're under stress, under like natural feelings that we get as humans, that we kind of learn to get better at controlling them, like jealousy. Like in a relationship, you might get jealous and you might be possessive, and that's seen as a negative trait because it is. So, but usually, in a relationship, that trait will come out. Usually, when you're courting someone, you kind of show out this person that you think that will make that other person like you. And again, when you're under stress or when natural emotions take, that's when that person that will come out, and you might be a little bit more possessive for your partner. You might, all like that. So, back to the media. We see characters like John Wick, which is a great example, one of my favorite movies of all time. John Wick 1. This is not really much of a spoiler. So they kill his dog. Bad guys kill his dog. And John Wick goes out and gets revenge. One of the things they teach you is, or they say is, oh, you shouldn't get revenge. You need to be the better man and accept, be the better man and don't get revenge, don't fight back. But John Wick, he goes out and he gets revenge on the people. If you haven't seen John Wick, it's a great movie. There's 3 of them and I'm waiting for part 4. Anyway, another character that we see in the media, or in media, one of my favorite TV shows, and I think the greatest TV show of all time, Breaking Bad. It's probably the best example I can think of that I've seen in TV or movies. At least one of the best examples, because I haven't seen every movie. I don't watch a lot of movies that often, or TV shows. It is Walter White, or Heisenberg, his alter ego in Breaking Bad. If you haven't seen Breaking Bad, it's Walter White. He starts cooking meth to pay for his cancer and his family, to make sure when he does die from cancer, his family's well off. And he becomes this person, and you see it in each season. He becomes more and more evil with the things that he starts doing to get what he wants. And you see that when he's with his family, he's a completely different guy. He's a goofy dad, and he really tries to play. And the actor Bryan Cranston, he did a great job. I think he won like 4 Emmys, or I don't know which one it is for the actors. He won 4 Emmys for like all the seasons or whatever. There were 5 or 6 seasons, 5 seasons I think, of the show, and I think he won an award for each season that he was there, because he portrayed such a great actor who's doing this bad guy, this Heisenberg, which was his drug dealer name, his drug kingpin name, and Walter White, the goofy dad next door, he's not cooking any meth, he's not selling drugs, he's just a goofy old dad. So if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, it's a great example. And a lot of people, even me, and I feel like my dark side, I will discuss that a little bit later on, is aggression. And I was rooting for Walter White, even though he was really evil at the end, and he was willing to do whatever it took to make secure all his money, all the millions of dollars he had made. And I was rooting for him to get revenge, and against his I don't want to spoil it too much, his the cop, the DEA officer that was tracking him down, who was his family member. And I was rooting for Walter White to succeed, even after all the horrible things he did, because he did a lot of horrible things. After each season after that, he gets worse and worse. And the latter seasons are when you find out he did like crazy, like, oh my God, like if we saw anybody in society do that, we would want them locked up or probably in the electric chair or whatever. So Breaking Bad, great show, pretty portrays how we admire our dark side. And I found myself rooting for that aggressive type of, John Wick going out and get revenge, and, basically doing what he did in that movie where he killed a bunch of people that, killed his dog. Or Heisenberg, who's, wants his money. We try to act like we're not greedy, and we're not in it for the money. Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Stop lying. You are in it for the money. Or they try not to be, they're trying to be not so grandiose, but really, like, we're narcissists, and we try to do all that. So now I'm going to discuss some of these different characters that we repress, and some of the characteristics they might do. The first one, the most common one that I see, or at least that I saw when I was a kid, and even now I still see it. It's kind of embarrassing to see it now. The tough guy, or the macho, super, I get all the girls, like, this is my girlfriend, or this is the girl I slept with the other night, and it's some Instagram model looking model. You know, I saw this a lot in middle school. Every, guy, boys in school wanted to be like, oh yeah, I talked to her, and she's like a really cute girl that everybody liked. You would see this, oh yeah, me and her totally talk, she totally likes me, stuff like that. Or they might say how they're really confident, basically, stuff like that. But really, they're really sensitive. They will get triggered easily by something you say. If you call out their sensitivity, they'll get sensitive, and which is the opposite of masculinity. I see this all the time. I'm not gonna say any names, obviously, but I've had encounters where people tell me they're, like, yeah, there's a grown man and he's telling me that he's hooking up with these girls, these Instagram model looking girls, and I'm like, and then I see the girl, or he showed me his past girlfriends, and then I see the girlfriend he has now, and I'm like, she is like a 1 compared to the girls she shows me on Instagram that he supposedly talked to, or supposedly hooked up with, or supposedly went out with, or whatever. And you kind of can call that out. Now, the next person might be the saint. The saint is usually a person that portrays an image. You see this a lot in politicians. They want to be seen in the best light, but really, they really just after power. And by being the saint, by playing the saint, usually those people get a lot of power, and when they are in a position of power, they can pretty much do whatever they want. And you kind of have to start to see that not everybody's all super great, has that aura of honesty and saintliness. And I don't want to go on religion. I'm Catholic, but you see this a lot in priests, where they usually will take advantage of kids, but really they portray this all image of, I'm a priest and all that, whatever. Now, the passive aggressive person who's really nice, nobody's ever too nice. You should always be suspicious. Nobody's ever nice from the get-go. Usually when somebody's really nice, they're trying to get something from you. This is something most people kind of get, unless you're really, really naive. Now, the fanatic, somebody who goes out and tries to, how do I say it? They want to do something they want to go out and say they can do something really, like they talk about something they've done in the past, or they are gonna do for a cause, but when it comes time to do something for that cause, then that's when they're nowhere to be found, and they kind of just shrink. And, oh, this happened, oh, my back hurts, I can't do it now, I was supposed to fight this guy, but now I can't do it because it wouldn't be fair because my back hurts. Like, they're capping, they're lying. The people who are really rational, and they're rational to the core on everything. Everything has to be scientifically proven. Everything has to be factual. Now, us humans, we love irrationality. We love indulging in it because, we love to believe in stuff. We usually consult astrology charts. We believe in ghosts nowadays. Even still now, with all the technology, we still believe in ghosts. We love shows about ghosts. I personally do. I don't believe it, but I would be totally down to go to a haunted house, or a supposed haunted location. I would totally be down to do that, honestly. I would play a Ouija board, not at my house though. Even though I like to say that I'm rational. Anyway, the person who's rigidly like rational, they are devout atheists. No, they say don't believe in God because you can't really prove God. But the point about God is that you can't really prove that he's not there. It's a belief either way. A lot of people don't realize that the idea of God is a idea. Either you believe in him or not. And finally, we go against the character, the last character, or the second to last character. The last one isn't really a character. Is the person that goes against the grain. Now, this person will dress a lot, like way more out there. Like they'll have a crazy dress on or want to be standing out way more than the group, even more. Like usually you have like a person that dresses like, a little bit differently, but this person will go out of their way just to stand out a lot. I do this sometimes, but not necessarily in the way I dress. In particular, the car I drive, I'm not gonna lie. I got that car because of the amount of looks I got. Actually, today as I was pulling up to my house, I saw some kids. Some kids were on a bicycle. They were probably like 9, 10 year olds. They were on their bike. They were pointing at my car like it was a Ferrari. Now, if you see my car, it's a Miata. It's an ND Miata. I'll try to put a picture of it right here, maybe, or over it. This car looks really nice. It looks a lot more expensive than it actually is. It looks like a $60,000 car, but really it's like a $35,000 car. And these kids were pointing at my car like, "Whoa, well, that looks like it was a Ferrari." And I was like, "Whoa." Fed my ego. I mean, I already knew I had a nice car, but now even more. So the person that goes against the grain, they go against the grain, and they don't want to conform to the ideas, but really eventually, they're just doing this to play that, "Oh, I'm not with the group." Really, the person that's not against the grain will usually not try to show out too much that they're against the grain, because we are social animals and we like to be part of the group. And now the last character is not so much a character. It's really what we should strive to be and what we are enthralled by. This is a person that has mastered themselves and can laugh about themselves, laugh about their insecurities, laugh about their past failures. I have become this person over the past year a little bit more. I don't think I'm at that level yet, but I can learn to laugh at myself. Usually I'll tell my friends like, "Oh yeah, when I talked to that girl, she kind of ghosted me," and I ended up finding out she was already, she already had a husband, and it was kind of funny to talk about. Or, when you can laugh about yourself. And the thing about this is, and here's a little tip to get people to like you. When you talk about your past failures, and how you can laugh about yourself, people will like you more because you'll be seen as more human. Nobody's perfect. The only people that are seen as perfect are people from the past or gods in religious, sense. People from the past, like past presidents like Abraham Lincoln, MLK, or Leo da Vinci, people like that in the past who, we see as masters in their work. Those are, people that are perfect. But now nobody's really perfect. And whenever somebody tries to portray that image of being perfect, we can see through that, and we don't like that. This is like a normal thing. Like, most people don't like it when people try to be like, "Oh, I'm perfect." No, because we know you're not. And now, my last point is my dark side, my aggression, my aggressive type. I have aggressive impulses. I also kind of am possessive, but I've kind of learned to see through that. And figuring out your dark side is, you figure it out by the way you act when you're in stressful situations or anger. That's when you'll start to see, and how you react with like emotions. That's when you start to see who you really are. And when you find out what that is, you can start to use that energy to help you strive, to a next level, to put that to good use. So I have an aggressive impulse, and I've learned to use that aggression to hit the gym harder, motivate me more. You see this in athletes. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, they don't just want to play basketball. They want to destroy you. This is something that like new athletes now, like LeBron, he's friends with everybody in the league. They're all cool. But really, like back then, Jordan wanted to destroy you, and he used that aggressive energy to go out and win 6 championships or drop 60 points or 50 points or whatever. And he would talk trash. He talked about it in The Last Dance. You don't see LeBron James doing this. I'm getting into sports, but yeah, you don't see LeBron James doing. He's all cool with everybody. He takes Instagram pictures with everybody. He's liking everybody's posts. You would never see, Michael Jordan would never, like they say. Now, another way that you could probably channel your energy is if you're really sensitive. If you're really sensitive, you're probably more empathetic than the average person, and you can learn to understand other people and use that energy to understand other people. So, as I said, my dark side was basically aggression and being possessive, wanting to be better. I used that energy to be better, and I hit the gym harder. I worked harder to make more money. I learned new skills. I started reading more books. I wanted to just become a better person overall, and not just person like in societal standards, like a better, like above, in society we try to say, oh, no one's better, no, but really, like, there's people that are up here, and then there's people that are mediocre, and I was kind of mediocre. That's why, I wanted to better myself. I started to read more books, and I used that aggressive energy to push myself to become a better person. And I'm still, reading a lot of books, learning new ways to make more money. So in conclusion, learn what your dark side is, learn how it affects you, how what you react to in the moment, especially emotionally. As you learn to control your emotions and, obviously be more rational, like I said in episode 1, as we learn to be more rational and step back and, have our emotions, sit there and see how we reacted in the moment, we start to see how what our dark side truly is and how we would have reacted. We start to see, oh, I might be more aggressive. I want to do this. Like I said, send that angry email. No, don't do that. Use that energy to be better about it and transform your energy into something more productive. Again, you look at people, don't take their appearances as they are, because everybody's playing a character every single time. And yeah, the more you study people, the more you'll learn to see who they really are in their appearance. Some people are masters though, and as we, especially the older the person is, the more conform they'll be to that character. But you always got to remember one thing: under stress, when they're drunk or when they're angry, is when that's going to leak out. It's eventually going to leak out. The more that person tries to hide those characteristics that they don't want to show out to the world, the more pressure they'll be seeing, the more tension that'll be built up inside, and the more you'll see that when that finally comes out. This is why, when somebody's really frustrated and they've had enough, like I said, that's when it'll explode, and it'll just, it'll get really ugly depending on what circumstance. Now, this has been the Primal Human, episode 3, the first podcast. Make sure to subscribe. We're on Spotify now, Primal Human, and other podcasting platforms. Deezer. Anyway, Spreaker's still the main go-to. I'm trying to put it on iTunes, or Apple Podcasts. But yeah, have a good one, and yeah, subscribe. See you later.